share my screen. Can everybody see my screen? We good? Okay, awesome. Okay, let me get this all situated. Okay, so website builder. So how you get here. So you all have your own website, and this is going to be, your agent name.remax.com, or you may have a, dash in there. But you all have your own individual agent websites that you can, use out, put on your business cards, link QR codes to it. This is where you kind of want to drive a lot of your traffic. So if you don't have, another website, or if you do have like a custom domain and you have it forwarding here, this is kind of where you want everybody to go. So I like the idea of really customizing it and making it your own. So this is kind of what I've done here with hers. I kind of used her as my tester, where I took her website and kind of added some different things to it. So I kind of wanted to go through the settings. So you can click web and IDX. And you should probably just have your own. Let's see. There we go. So you're just going to go to that web and IDX. So you'll see this right with all the content. You'll see this is where you can find your URL. This kind of gives you some different paid things, but the majority of the time we're going to be in the site content. This is where a lot of this is driven. Sorry, I didn't want to go there yet. No, edit settings is where a lot of this is driven. Okay, so this is all your different settings. So there's some different general settings. I just want to go over the most basic ones because I know everybody's not going to come in here and create their, this, but you can kind of upgrade your background photo. So if you've got a background photo that you use, like say you're, in the city of Charlotte and you've got a nice like downtown Charlotte skyline, or if you're at the beach and you've got the beach, just whatever kind of customizes that for you. For Carrie Lee, we're over here in the mountains. So she took a shot from one of her houses that has the views. So she kind of made it a mountain view. So this is where you can kind of upload your own. The key with doing your own images is making sure that you resize it to this specific size as close as possible, or else it might not show. You also can add a secondary logo. I think there was a place to, the video is not here yet. You can also, I will get to that in a little bit, but you can also, if you've got a video that you want playing in the background, maybe it's one of your listings, or maybe it's a video of you kind of walking a neighborhood or whatever that looks like, you can upload a video and I'll show you where to do that. So if you are a team, or if you have your own kind of logo that's personalized to you, you can add that. Where that shows up is it's going to show up right here. So if you do have a team or personal logo, they'll be able to kind of brand that to yourself. A lot of these aren't super important. Okay, mandate phone, no, forced lead registration. Okay, this one's going to be one that you guys might have questions on. So as of right now, when somebody's on your website, they're required after so many properties to kind of view it before registering. So if you ever want to turn that off for any reason, maybe you're using that link to share out with other realtors or other folks that you want to have that turned off, or if you want to require them to register after just 1 or 2 views, this is where you can do that. So as of right now, if I went on her website and clicked on like over 4 different properties, at that point it would be like, hey, we need you to sign up on the website before you can look at any more. Website title, this is a good one. This is going to be the title of, it's going to show up on your tab, but it also is like your tagline. So it kind of shows up right here. So if you all have a slogan that you use that you want to kind of show up, it also shows up like if you share it to your social media, Facebook, or it shows up on Google. When you kind of Google it, that's the heading that's going to show up. So that's going to kind of be your personal tagline. So all that's right here, website title. The meta description, I haven't figured, I think this is the byline that shows up. If I shared this on Facebook, it'll have love where you live as the title. And then beneath it would have your neighborhood real estate agent. And I think that it probably on Google, it does that too. There's like a secondary line of text. So a lot of this isn't for our Remax pages, is it? Okay, yeah, you can have a Facebook chat. So right here under the chat with me, you can link it to your Facebook. Yeah, so I did that with her. So you can actually link it to your Facebook. So if they're logged into Facebook or they're on their phone or whatever, it'll send your Facebook, your business Facebook page, a little chat. So if they have any questions, they can click on the chat to me and it opens up the messenger. You can add additional office addresses. You can connect your Zillow reviews. And what that looks like, I will show you what that looks like because it's under the My Testimonials page. And she's got her testimonial tree, and I'll show you how to hook those up if you guys have a testimonial tree, but she's got her testimonial tree. I love how hers is because over here you've got all the testimonial tree reviews, and then over here you've got the Zillow reviews. So that's where these are going to show up at. Okay, so this would be if you want a background video running. So that would be up here at the top of the page. Right here. So you can have a video running in the background. That's all you would do is put that URL. It does have to be a YouTube ID. So if you've got a YouTube channel, you can publish it to get that URL from. This is where all that would go. And then it'll actually play the video in the background when somebody joins your page. It's really cool. All right, so a lot of this isn't accurate. Okay, so custom navigation. This is where you can kind of add labels. So right here, when you have the custom labels, you can add the different labels and choose your navigation. So if you wanted to add, so in this instance, she is works this one area, this one county, and she's very involved within the county. So I really had this very specific to her area. My broker in charge, Bob, I think he was on us today. I've had his doing like golf communities because he's a big golfer. So I had, different golf communities or whatever. And so whatever that looks like, whatever your focus is or your niche or how you want your page to kind of represent yourself, this is kind of your chance to do that by creating these little drop downs. I have an agent that, in the news. That was one that we were doing on her other website where she's kind of has some different things that she's done in the community and been kind of in the news, in the media on. That would be a good one to add to this, different bios or about yous. So this is kind of where I've added the labels, and I'll show you how to add custom pages just if you kind of get to the advanced next level and get into this. You can kind of add custom pages. So this is where you can kind of add the navigation, where I've created a custom page and then made it into a category and then put those categories as the navigation. It's a little confusing, but as you all get into it and have any questions on it, I'd be happy to do a one-on-one with anybody that wants to kind of dive into this a little bit more. Okay, the listing carousels, I think these are really important. If you're an agent that doesn't have a lot of listings right now, then what I would do is I would recommend moving the My Listings to the bottom and then putting just listed, just reduced, because you want as much content. So with her, she does have a lot of listings and she likes showcasing them. So hers, we kind of have the My Listings at the top, but you can move those around. And so if you only have like one listing and it's kind of showing a lot of the white space because it'll only show the one, you can move all the just listed, and that gives you more opportunity for people to kind of click in on your listings. Just reduced. There's an open houses one. Let's see, there's different little listing here. Just sold, my sold. So whatever that looks like to you, and you can kind of change these in whatever order you want. Trying to just hit the most important ones. I'm going to eventually send out, I've got a step-by-step guide on all these little settings and what each one does. I eventually want to get that finished when I get a chance, and I've got it mostly finished, but I've just run into interruptions. Okay, so type serve. So here is where you can choose what listings are going to show up on your website. So if you don't want, so with hers, she doesn't really do anything with commercial or rentals. So I have unchecked this. And so this is only showing single family, townhouse, condos, multifamily. Just keep in mind, if you check this off, like if you check off rentals and then you do list a rental, like that is not going to show up on your website. So just keep that in mind if you uncheck commercial and then you get a commercial listing. because you do want your listings to show up. So you can also only show, so this impacts, for her, I did this, and I can show you what this does impact is, I only selected the counties that she works, because on her website, when I added this widget, let's see. So you'll notice when you add this widget that it'll have like 30,000 listings or whatever. And it might be something crazy. If you're with Canopy, it'll be something crazy, because basically what this widget does is it adds all of the listings of, you know, your whole MLS that your MLS covers. So with her, to narrow it down to really the counties that she works, I just added those 3 counties so that it shows, you know, realistically, you're not clicking in there thinking this, you know, 30,000 mountain homes available, and it's because it's all over, you know, all over our MLS. So I kind of just figured a lot of this out as I go, as I've gone, you know, just playing around with it and seeing what it does. But this does kind of feed how many, because when you add a widget like this, you'll be like, where's it pulling this from? And that's where, so you can just narrow it down to the counties that you work to only show the listings. But what this does is if somebody's looking on her website looking for like a Charlotte listing, they're not going to be able to see it. So just keep that in mind. Is this making sense so far? Is there any questions? Okay, cool. Well, feel free to interrupt me because sometimes I forget to ask. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of the general. Testimonials, here's where you can kind of connect. Let's see, I think I did already go through all of that. So that's pretty much, I mean, I'll send out the overall settings on what that does. But that's pretty much the general as far as, you know, you can kind of make your tagline. I'll show you where you can add the widgets and edit your featured areas. This might be important to people if you really want to narrow it down. So for hers, I did just the Madison County areas and Yancey and Buncombe that she works. And so I really made it specific to her. But I have agents that work kind of all over. It's just with her, she only works a couple of specific county areas. So, and then, oh yeah, yes, ma'am.
Susan had a great question in the chat.
All right, cool. Yeah, when I'm screen sharing, sometimes I can't see the chat and I'm trying to move around the people. It's like a totally different world when you're doing the screen sharing. But does this flow between North Carolina, South Carolina by MLS? Canopy? That's a great question. It does. So Canopy, it pulls in. So that actually is really good for you all that work 2 states. So as long as it's all fed by your IDX, and you actually, if you're members of multiple MLSs, then you can add in and it'll show everything between all your MLSs, but anything in Canopy is going to show. So if you at the bottom are on your page and you want to know which MLSs you're currently connected to, you can see at the bottom. So if you're members of multiple MLSs, you would come in here and you would see like, you know, maybe CCAR and then Canopy, you know, because we have a number of agents that are in multiple markets. But this is where you can see what listings are feeding right now. So like when you add that widget, and I'll show you which widget this is if you're interested in adding this particular one. It will have everything from entire Canopy coverage. And what I did with her is because she only works 3 specific counties, I just added those counties so it didn't look like there was 30,000 listings available or whatever, because it was kind of confusing to me, but then it made sense when I was thinking about it, because it pulls in everything from Canopy, which is good for folks that work a number of different markets. And then folks that only work, you know, maybe you only want these specific areas represented, you can choose that as well by county. So that's a great question. Does that answer the question, Susan? Or okay, cool.
Hey, Erin.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a limit as to how many locations you can add? How many specific communities?
Not that I have noticed yet. If anybody adds too many and it doesn't let you add anymore, I would like to know the answer to that, but I have not run into that yet. So,
okay.
But it's hard to think of it because there's so many different neighborhoods. And I think that the neighborhoods that maybe it's pulling from the MLS neighborhoods. So as you see or don't see specific neighborhoods, I think that's why. I could very well be wrong on that, but. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to show y'all on this that I also think is important Okay, I'm in North Carolina, South Carolina, Illinois. It should not pick up unless that designate. Yep, so you can add, and you can send us an email with that MLS to your help box, to our help box to help. Sorry, I'm also not used to working on this little tiny laptop. All right, so we have a, so I have a link that we can actually go and set you up on the IDX feed. I think it's, no, but okay, so I have a link. We can go in and just submit that that we want you to add that IDX feed, and they'll add it to your website. So you can do that. All right, so site overview. Okay, so here is where site content is the other area that I think is kind of important. This is where you're going to see all your testimonial trees pull in, and I'll show you how you guys can pull those in the Marketplace tab. This is where you can add manual testimonials. You can turn off if you have some that you don't necessarily want all of them to show. You want the top 4 or 5 or whatever. You can turn those off or turn those on. Service areas and SEO. So this is kind of the areas I think that Haley was mentioning, where you can add in the areas you work, and basically that does add your SEO, but it also shows at the bottom of the page. So this is areas we cover. And it's also little neighborhood areas that you can use if you want, when you are doing those custom pages, that you want to link it out. So like, let's see, Burnsville. So if it's like a specific neighborhood, so say it's a neighborhood you want to share out and like show the statistics, it'll show. So you can just take this link and kind of link it out to people. Everything is completely, see how it's still on your website, it's completely branded to you. It shows the listings, top listings in that area, number of listings, new, reduced, average price, average square foot, the real estate market, the location. And this is where it will also show you more neighborhoods. So you can actually break it down and see specific neighborhoods. So you can kind of link it that way. And so I kind of did that within hers, where I did like about Mars Hill, and you can kind of add some stuff. I did all this off ChatGPT. I think if you guys were on the last call before, where you can just really ask it pointed questions, where I had to ask like, what are the highlights of Mars Hill? What if I'm looking to move to Mars Hill and I'm a potential buyer, what are some of the things? So I just went on there and asked it, and it kind of gave me some really good kind of highlights and things to say about each town. But I linked it right here. You can just put properties for sale, real estate stats, and all I did was link it back out to those little areas you work, so that people can kind of see the market, the average price point, see what just came on, what's been reduced. So it's pretty handy. So this is where you would add that. You would add all the different neighborhoods. You kind of add it up here. And you can add as many as you want. As far as I know, I haven't seen anybody hit any limits yet. And then here is where I've added custom pages. So what I did is I basically, this is the title of the page. You can just add the page. And then I created a category. And then when I created that category, I linked all of these related pages and kind of under this category. And then I made that category where we had that navigation in the edit settings where it says custom navigation, and it had the labels. I chose that category to be the custom navigation, so that up here it pops up, and everything that I've tagged under that category pops up under it. So it's a little complicated. So if you get doing it and you, if you really wanted to jump in and customize it and you wanted to figure out how to do this, just let me know. I'd be happy to work with you on that. So, but that's all I did, was just categorize it and then take the category and make it part of the navigation. So this is where you can kind of add as many pages as you want. I do recommend any more than about 5. So I stopped at 5 and I played with adding more, but it actually, instead of moving it over here, it actually started putting some labels down here, which didn't look as good. So that's pretty much the basics. You can kind of get into that as much or as little as you want. But I just want to at least teach you, how to do the tagline and the photos and the different things you can do. And I think the areas are important, adding the areas. So is there any questions on websites or any topics you guys want me to go into next or anything specific? Okay, then I think I'm going to go into figure out how to get there. Sorry, I was not.
Erin,
Yes, ma'am.
is there a map feature for specific communities
Oh,
or
yeah,
just the
actually,
drop-down tab?
that is a great question. And I actually meant to go into the featured areas on that. So on the, you know, the specific communities for the areas that we work or whatever.
Yep.
There is a map feature for the featured areas. So what you can do, trying to even find those under the widgets. I forgot to go into the widgets. I'm sorry. Okay, so featured area widget, you actually can, this is where you can edit, and actually you can edit any of your current feature areas if y'all are in there, where you can kind of go in, and I've added these. And I did this one by zip code, but you can also draw on map.
Cool.
I got some folks walking in. I'm so sorry. Amy, would you, hey, how are you? Hey. Sorry, I'm hosting a Zoom call right now. Did you not at the moment. I can jump off real quick. I'll get here. Sure. Yeah, hang on one second. Hang on. Sorry, can you, I'm so sorry. I was not prepared to do all this morning. Amy, do you care to take over for a minute?
That's fine. Okay. Just got to get permission.
Again. Is it asking me?
Yeah, it said you can't share your screen until I think you got to stop sharing so I can share.
I don't know how to stop sharing. Okay. Okay, did that work?
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for all of this morning. I was like, I gotta come up with topics, but at least I've done my best.
You're doing great, Erin.
Always,
We appreciate
yeah,
you.
always.
Thanks.
All right, let me share. Okay, I think she was headed toward, are we doing website content? And the widgets. So I'm trying to catch up to her brain where she was headed. It's like when you're listening, but then you got to start talking. It's like, wait a minute. That part of my brain was not engaged. So we're talking about the map feature, right? So like if you are in your website and you're dealing with your widgets, so which this feels like deeper than we maybe should be talking about on these calls. So if it feels a little weird, really honestly, like jump in and say, wait a minute, can we please back up and make this make sense? But just in the interest of picking up where she left off, I'm just going to go toward the widget. So we're in the website manager, we're in this web IDX website manager, we're looking at our website content, and in there we get this featured area, and all of them are already set up. So there's nothing that you absolutely have to do. They've already been set up. But if you want to adjust that in some way for your specific website, this is where you go. So we're going to jump in. We're going to jump in. I don't want to do that. I want you to let me. Oh, you know why? Because I'm in mine. And mine is not going to help y'all at all because I am not an agent. Let's see if I can jump into somebody else's. Who was she using? She was using Carrie Lee. Is that whose site she was on? Okay, let's do that. Websites. Oh, I hate when that happens, y'all. Be all the way grateful that you are seeing yours, because I swear sometimes when you get in here, when you have too much access, it's a little hairy. It gets a little hairy. I really want you to give me what I want, just not this. Okay, so now we're in hers. We're going to look at her widgets. Her featured area widget, we're going to edit that. This is where I was trying to go a second ago. So we can see all the things that are in there now. This is what you would see in your own account. So if you wanted to adjust the widgets that you had on your website, this is, I mean, maybe not these areas, but this is what the platform would look like. You can go in and add another area right here. You could adjust what's in here right now. For the fun of it, I'm not going to save it, but I'm going to add an area just to show you the map that she was talking about. If you've got an area name, what areas? I'm just going to put Asheville, just, I know it's already there. Oh, you know what? Fun fact, when I was doing these, Asheville is not one of the areas that automatically populates, which I thought was nuts. We had to draw it on the map for Asheville, as big as Asheville is. But then if you put in something funky, let me see if I can come up with one in that area that's actually going to populate. It's thinking, it's spinning, it's trying to come up with. So you could pick whatever the area is. If it happens to be there, awesome. You can click on it and it'll pull it, thank you, put it on the map. But if for some reason what you're looking for is not available, I'm going to pretend like it's not available. You can go right to this draw on map thing and it'll give you this. So you could even come in here, like if we want to do the Lake Junaluska, it'll kind of zoom it in for us. And then you could decide how you want to draw this. If you want to draw the area, it's a little tricky too. This one I had to learn the hard way. To draw the area, you're going to think it's not working like it's supposed to, but it is. Once you click that, you'll see the little plus comes up and you just have to give it points. So once you click it one time, you're going to click it every time you want there to be a point. So you can make this as funky as you want to be. If you want to, you know, cover all the areas that have that other color, whatever. I'm just being weird now. I'm just putting funky shapes on the screen. But yeah, this is your area drawer. If you would like to do that, if you get this done and you're like, that's nuts, clear it and start over. You can back out, you can zoom around, you can go wherever you want. You're going to get to name this area, whatever you want to name it, and then add it to your widget. Is that good? Is that what did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right, you want it back, Erin? Because I would love to give it back.
Okay. Well, I was wanting to go over the text codes, but it's hard for me to figure out where to find them. Okay, I'll take it back as long as nothing crazy happens. That's the
Yes.
all right.
I do not want to say that. Okay.
Okay, I guess share my screen. All right. Did anybody have anything specific they wanted to talk about? I was wanting to do the text codes, but I don't know if I haven't been able to find those yet. I can show you kind of what I did here too. So you can actually create different filters. So if you are like searching and want to do a campaign, so I clicked over here and click filters, you can kind of create different saved filters. So I assigned users, let's see, contact details, and you can different sources, and you can save a filter up here, up at the top, to kind of, you know, as you have a campaign that you're using regularly. Do you know where that text code marketing was, Amy, at all? That's what Anna wanted me to go over, but I don't even know where to find that.
Hold on.
But is anyone run into any troubles with anything or have any specific things that they did want to go over? Colin, take capture. I think I found it. Okay, so if you guys have, like, say you have an open house, which if you guys, any of y'all do open houses, the open house app, I've had agents use that, and it's really good because what they do is they sign in using that app and it goes into your KV Core and it hashtags it, the hashtag of the open house. But you can also use this, say if you have a sign up, you want to put up a sign that says text, and you also have your own, so office smart number. So I have my own personal text code. So you already have your own personal text code, but you can also create a text code. So say you're listing, 123 Forest Drive, you can click text Forest and then to this number, and then it sends them the property information. So you can enter in the MLS ID of the property. You can hashtag them so that they're automatically hashtagged. And then the smart number is going to be your office smart number. So if somebody texts that code, that lead comes straight to you, as long as you have your code that you've created. It does always come from the smart number. So as Anna always says, please save that in to your phone as KV Core leads. I also highly, highly, highly recommend everybody downloading the KV Core app. So I think there's a lead where you can just go here and download the app, and it gives you the thing to scan, the QR code that you can scan. Because I've noticed that a lot of leads in my office, that's why I had that lead search up, is a lot of the leads in my office, some are getting missed because they don't have the app. So I'm not exactly sure how all that's working, but I would recommend go ahead, download the app, make sure to have push notifications on so that anytime you're getting a lead to accept that, you see that come to your phone right away. So that's pretty much the text codes. The text codes you can set up and those come to you. That's pretty much all I've got. That's what the two that Anna wanted me to go over. Didn't realize I was doing this and I was like, what am I supposed to go over? Anybody else have anything or any questions or any little thing they wanted to focus on? Oh, real quick, I guess the marketplace. So if you do have testimonial tree, I also highly, highly recommend coming down here. And if you've got testimonials within testimonial tree, and then installing that. And then all you got to do is just use your login credentials to testimonial tree. If you do not know your login credentials to testimonial tree, because sometimes people get those things, but they don't log in, just reach out to the help box at help@RMX Executive, and I can reset it for you. So, and then
we don't have a specific date for live launch, do we? Right? It's in September, but we don't have like a hard and fast number.
No, I haven't heard anything specific. I know she's meeting with the offices, so I'm sure there'll be something to go out if you want like one-on-one with Anna. They're doing like regional managers meetings where like Karush and Anna and everybody is like gonna come meet, but Anna's coming with them to like specifically sit down with agents and kind of be there to be able to talk to people like one-on-one. Because I mean, it is easier to sit down one-on-one and say, okay, what helped me get set up? So that'll kind of be your time where you have like 30 minutes or whatever to meet with her. So I would recommend go ahead and go in and playing around with stuff and kind of have maybe specific objectives that you want to go over with her. Like say if you did want to go into that website stuff, but it looks way too, confusing, but you kind of wanted to add a few pieces, you could sit down with her and say, how do I do that? Or you can kind of create marketing objectives and just say, hey, I need some help. I've got these contacts in here and I don't know what to do. What is some, so I would just use that time, take advantage of that time that you kind of get that one-on-one with her. Any one of us would be happy to do Zoom calls. I do one-on-one Zoom calls with folks, if like, with the same thing where they have the objectives and they know they're like, I'm seeing all this and I don't really know where to begin. But it's just so much easier to, but that's the biggest thing about her, making sure that you guys had all your contacts and stuff uploaded. Because the most important thing is like kind of doing that checklist and getting all that prepared. And I'll do the quick actions Anna goes over this every time, pre-launch checklist. So if you.
That's what I was just
don't
thinking
know
about. We
what-
got to say it. She's not here, so we got to say it for her.
We
Make
gotta
sure
say,
you get
yeah, I'm
that
trying
thing
to think
done.
all the things, all the Anna required things I'm supposed to be saying. So pre-launch checklist, get your contacts in. But I do think the most important thing is getting your contacts in, and then like figuring out hashtags and just figuring out objectives. And then you can just do one little thing at a time. Like I've got agents like Don, he was the one that showed about the text code, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like I didn't even know. So everybody's kind of going in and playing with these random little things. So I think the most important thing is figuring out how you're going to use it. I mean, everybody's not going to go in there and do like a big website and do a bunch of hashtags. Just, upload your sphere or your neighborhood or whatever, and just start small and make it manageable and figure out how it's going to build your business. Everybody's going to have different pieces, but I would go ahead and, just play around with some of these and just write down just one big long list. And then that way, if you have time to meet with Anna, or if you kind of get a big list and you want to jump on a Zoom and go through some of those, then we can definitely make it more manageable for you all. So let's see. I think that's all I got. Does anybody else have questions, comments, concerns? All right, y'all. Well, have a lovely day, and thank you for being patient with me. I'm sorry it was kind of a mess, but that's how my mornings go. So bye, y'all.
Hey, Erin,
Yes, ma'am.
I sent you a chat.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll give you a call here, Haley. Sure.
Okay, that works.
Okay. Bye, y'all. Have a good
Bye.
day.